everyone. Welcome to Girls Run These Worlds. We are live today. We are going to be playing Tobean's Winter Edition. For those of you that don't know, it is a 5e module, soon to be system agnostic, but right now it is 5e, and it is set in a cozy little cat cafe. So I hope all of my players here are ready for a very, very cozy, sweet little D&D adventure. My name's Kat. I am the law mistress. No one in real life calls me that, but that's my internet persona. And my pronouns are she, her. That's where you'll find me on the internet, law mistress 93. And yeah, so Tobean's Winter Edition is published by Fistful of Crits, and I would definitely recommend checking it out, but we're going to have a fun time playing it today. Content warnings wise, there's not really going to be much in the way of content warnings. I want to be honest. Like I said, it's a very, very cozy, chilled out little adventure, but obviously sort of like the mild peril side of things that often comes with fantasy games, and in particular there will be some cats. I will not be putting any cats in danger. I'm gonna put that out there right now, but cats will be in the vicinity, so if you happen to be a dog person and can't stand cats, then maybe you're in the wrong place. But you know me, I love them all. So let's have a little introduction for our cast though, because I'm not going to be playing by myself, not this time anyway. So let's start. We're going to go around. I want name, I want pronouns, and I would like to know your character's name and pronouns, and sure, let's do their sort of class as well, their D&D class. Let's start then with Anya.
Sure. Hi, I'm Anya. My pronouns are she, her, and I am going to be playing Aaliyah, pronouns she, they. Aaliyah is a high elf druid, so I've got my elf ears on.
I see that.
Mhm.
Next up, Maddie.
Yes, hello, I'm Maddie. My pronouns are they, them, and I'm going to be playing Latch, who is a black dragonborn rogue, also uses they, them pronouns. And yeah, just a shy little guy. That's the vibe I'm going for with Latch.
I love a shy little guy. All right, last but certainly not least, let's go with Natalie.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Natalie. I use she, they pronouns, and today I am playing Olive Fiddleleaf. She is a fairy cleric, and though she is very little, she likes to have a very big personality because she grew up amongst frost giants.
Goodness. Already in love. All right. Well, I would also be remiss if I didn't mention, and I absolutely did remember this 100% and definitely wasn't going to forget about this for this stream. We are running a giveaway today because the lovely people over at Fistful of Crits have decided to donate a copy of both Tobean's and Tobean's Winter Edition, because there is an original sort of module, and then Winter Edition is the sort of festive themed adventure. So you can type !beans to enter, and hopefully win a copy of Tobean's and Tobean's Winter Edition. So thank you very much for your generosity, Steph. I see you in the chat there. I hope you're feeling better soon. But without further ado then, I guess, are we all ready to get started?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I love everyone doing the production thumbs up. I love it. Okay then. Well, so the Marketplace High Street bustles with activity as people go about their winter shopping. Baskets pile high with food, bags are laden with gifts, and the cobblestone streets thrum with the sound of distant music and cheerful conversation. There are still a few days before the restful period of the winter break closes in, and those that have left their preparations to the last minute can't relate. Walk a little faster between shops and stalls. For you all, it has been a wonderful morning of gazing at the spectacular decorations and lights strung up all around the place, and your packs are now laden as well with many gifts and knickknacks from your shopping and exploring the town. I would like to know from all of you, just to kind of as we set the scene a little bit, what do you think your character is most excited about during sort of this festive time of year? And what is the purchase that your character is most proud of or excited about that you have kind of made during your little shopping morning? Please tell me. Anyone can jump in and go first. I'm not going to pick on people.
Well, for Olive, back home, it's always arts and crafts time. You know, we don't buy, we like to make homemade things. So she's got lots of jams of preserves, especially berries. She loves berry flavors. So lots of like blueberries, especially blueberry preserves. Very poorly carved, like little animals. So like there's a yeti she's carved, and it goes in like different sizes. So a little yeti family she made as a gift. But she gets like so entrenched in her crafting, she's only made like a small collection of things like, okay, these will have to be specifically for the party and no one else, as much as I want to gift to everybody I see because this is so new to me.
That's so cute. I love Olive so much. All right, who's next?
Well, I think that Aaliyah has found, they don't carry large packages, things like that, but they have found like this beautiful like pendant on a necklace that's like a mixture of metal working, like fine wire work and petrified wood, just all combined into this really beautiful piece. And she just looks at it and says, "This will be perfect." Does a little dance and puts it away in a pocket.
Oh, is it a gift?
It's absolutely a gift.
Yes. Ooh, who's it a gift for?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Oh, wouldn't I just? All right. Okay then. I guess that just leaves Latch. How's Latch doing? How has Latch enjoyed their morning?
They have been sort of going around in their very quiet way and sort of enjoying this is their hometown. They grew up here. Their parents still run the local locksmith, and so they have been trying to pick up a little gift for their father, and I think they have found a very fine and beautifully made tools, perhaps with a few tasteful gems inset into them, to give to their family. So yeah, I think that's the main purchase of the day so far.
Bougie tools, yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. So let me just get my thing there. So, obviously, it's been a very productive morning. You've got your gifts. Some of you have kind of come back here. It's your hometown. It's where you grew up. But I think the real main thing about today that you're particularly excited about, and it's going to make it so special, is that you are all going to take a nice, well-deserved rest. It has been a long year of adventuring. You've explored many a murky dungeon, dealt with many an unreasonable dragon, and you have aided many a villager, soldier, damsel, town, creature, deity, and habitat in peril. it's time to finally breathe, take a break, and celebrate the anniversary of something very special. Because it is the anniversary of when you all came together as an adventuring group. And you are all now on your way to enjoy a drink, some food, and reminisce in the place that you all first met, which is Mara's Toe Beans Cafe. Please tell me a little bit about what your characters would be kind of doing on the way to the cafe, why they're so excited to go.
Well, obviously, it's for the cats. The cats are the best part. Oh, they're also cozy and warm, and they just love you so much. And sometimes I like to talk to them, and they talk back to me.
Yeah, the furry little fur ball things are really good with their little dagger mittens. Of course, all the shakes. I really love the minty swirl. I want to have the minty swirl. I always want the minty swirl.
Minty swirl. They're the furry little furball things. They're great.
Yeah, I think Latch is looking forward to seeing Mara, because even though when they first started going to the cafe, they kind of kept to themselves, went into this little corner booth and just sort of used it as an opportunity to relax after the day. Mara eventually would kind of come and see how they were doing, and if there was a bit of technical jiggery pokery that needed done around the cafe, Latch would help out. And over a period of time, before the other adventurers arrived, they got into a nice little sort of very, very cozy and gentle sort of friendship.
Aww. I think I'm particularly fond of the phrase jiggery pokery now. I think technical jiggery pokery.
Yes, as I know nothing about machines, but my character does, it will be very useful.
That's such a mood.
I'm an ex-barista, so.
Perfect. Oh no, I've set myself a challenge here, haven't I? I just want you all to know that I genuinely know nothing about coffee, and I have not brushed up on any kind of coffee knowledge. So I will take your word for it. I will literally be playing the customer that knows nothing about coffee but likes to pretend they do.
Excellent.
All right. So you all kind of like go together, you excitedly make your way round the corner to where you know you will see Mara's Cat Cafe, Toe Beans. It is pretty much like the I think the central business of the town. It's the place that everyone, it's that tourist destination for this particular town. Everyone who goes tends to end up there. But Mara is expecting you and has definitely reserved a table for you all. And so you know that no matter how long the queue, and it's probably going to be long, there will definitely be a place for you. So you kind of round the corner, and as you are expecting, a familiar sort of long line has formed outside of Toe Beans cafe. And you were kind of thinking that would be the case, even though it's been open for sort of an hour or two at this point. And then you notice more curiously that the windows are dark, and the closed sign still hangs on the door panel glass. And you've got sort of a queue of customers. They're kind of waiting outside. They're looking expectantly. A lot of them look quite cold, like they've been standing there for a while. But they're kind of muttering to themselves, and they're kind of, they seem a little confused.
Well, that's concerning. Shouldn't she be open?
Yeah, it's not like Mara to have it closed. Usually she's right on time.
Immediately go to the window and start peeking inside.
Mara's pronouns are he, him, by the way. No worries. I did also think she, her when I saw the name, and but he, him. So you're going to peek inside. roll a perception check for me.
Sure. What is Elia's perception? Ooh, okay. I said that, and then I'm gonna roll terribly. I shouldn't have said anything. That's an 11.
An 11. 11's not bad. What you will see is, yeah, it's dark inside as well. You can see everything is kind of, you can see decorations inside. It's sort of decorated for the festive period. There don't seem to be any lights on, not even sort of any of the ones up on the tree or on the counter or any of the sort of more festive lights. None of them seem to be on. And there's no real sign of movement either, which even for a closed cat cafe is quite strange, because the cats are quite familiar. They're pretty well allowed to kind of come and go as they please around the place. So you'd have thought that even if it was dark, that perhaps you'd see some cats inside, but you can't seem to spot anything of that nature. And at this point, as you're kind of like peering in and trying to see, there are a couple of customers. They've obviously been waiting there a while. They're a little impatient, and they're giving you that that eye. That I don't know if this is purely a British thing, of just like that kind of look of just like, you better not be pushing into the queue.
Yes.
Just like that's like they're kind of like they're getting a little like antsy of just like, if the doors swing open at any moment and this person walks in front of me, I am going to passive aggressively tell them how unhappy I am about that. So you kind of got that edge. You can hear like mutterings behind you, but you're kind of trying to get a good peer in and you don't see much of anything.
That's not good.
No.
Latch, Olive, any ideas?
I could try sending. Yeah, I could try sending. See if I can reach Mara that way.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Oh, someone kept my words for me. Hey, Mara, we're here. There's a line and everyone's waiting. Store isn't open. What's going on? We wanted to see you. We have to see the little fur balls. Lots of the drinks. Are you here?
It has to be cut off at this point.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I was using fingers, but I'm not sure if I was actually trying to.
I think I lost count after the last 6 words because you just sped up and I was like, oh. Okay. I tend to, as a rule, as a DM, I tend to not to be massively strict on the 25 word thing. But you know, we're not talking a whole essay there. It's a short message. So I think that you do kind of get cut off. I'm gonna roll
Olive rambles.
Okay. You for a little while you hear nothing back. Then there's like a sort of almost an odd sound of like it's a bit staticky, like it's a little like you can't quite get through. It's like you're failing to pick up a signal. And the odd word does come through, but it's just literally the odd word. It makes no sense. There's no sense of like, it's just like, oh, think that, and then it's just sort of peters out, and the effect peters out. So you get the feeling that wherever Mara is, they're not able to quite get your message, and they're not quite able to respond either.
So the rest of the party sees Olive's face really crunch up. It's like, I never had that before. I didn't really get. It was weird. I got like bits of words, but not a real response.
That doesn't sound good. Latch is going to turn to someone in the queue and just sort of very shyly kind of shuffle up and go, excuse me, I'm sorry to bother you, but do you know when Mara's going to be back?
You're sort of speaking to a bearded dwarven gentleman, and he kind of has this little pocket watch, and he keeps checking it and sort of huffing to himself. And he goes, "Oh, I don't know, beats me. I came by yesterday, same thing. I waited for 2 hours. I just couldn't take it anymore. I think I'm gonna call it quits here again today."
Oh
Didn't
boy.
open
Okay.
yesterday.
What about the day before? Do you know?
I don't know. I'm sorry. And then someone a bit further back in the queue goes, I haven't come back here to queue, but I haven't seen Mara around town for a few days. Oh, I hope he's okay.
Oh
Oh
no.
dear.
We should get in and make sure the cats are okay.
Okay.
As you're kind of chatting and sort of having this kind of conversation, you hear through the throng of bodies, all of a sudden, coming and going, there is a sort of very insistent, high-pitched cry of a cat. And as it kind of like gets closer and closer, because you can hear it, it's definitely moving. All of you hear in your heads, help,
Oh no.
help. And it kind of is in tune with this kind of like meowing that you can hear outside of your heads, but inside it seems to be kind of getting translated. Obviously, Olive and Latch, you don't recognize this voice, but Aaliyah, you have definitely, because you definitely established this, being the more animal orientated member of the group, you probably definitely cast Speak with Animals.
Yeah, I also have Beast Bond.
And definitely had a chat with a few of these cats, and you do recognize this cat. It is BP, and it strikes you as very odd, actually, because you've obviously at this point you've cast no enchantment. Can I have everyone's passive perception, please?
Yes. That would be a 16 for me.
13 for Olive.
14 for me.
Okay, yeah, all of you have got pretty good passive perceptions, actually. So all of you, I think, would also notice that while it's quite startling for you to have this voice appear in your head all of a sudden, no one else really seems to be reacting as if they can hear the same thing. It seems to just be you. And this cat is kind of at this point you can see BP making, and that she's kind of looking up at each person and then kind of ducking to the next person and having a look at the face, kind of saying the same thing, and then just kind of goes, Latch,
Yeah.
Aaliyah,
Are you okay?
Come over, come over.
you're muted. You're speaking only in your head right now.
Just reaching out and being like, come here.
Upon seeing you, completely ignores everyone else, just sort of darts towards you. BP, now that you can see her better, is a sort of a black cat with a white tummy, and you would know BP to be quite skittish. Is very much like kind of brave and curious, but is prone to bolt, prone to kind of run off. at any given time as well. But definitely kind of the first of the cats to kind of launch themselves into danger, even if they immediately launch themselves back out of it again within seconds. So BP kind of comes running over and starts kind of meowing at you like, help, help, help.
Oh, baby, come here. And like, I'll reach out my hands to be like, if you want to get in my arms.
I think BP will give you a little, roll an animal handling check for me.
Sure.
Yeah, making all the rolls.
That would be a 23.
Oh yeah, I forgot. You're the druid.
And
Yeah.
I'm +6.
I mean, that cat just goes shooting into your arms. You represent safety, and it seems actually from just the way that BP was kind of viewing and saying your names that she was looking specifically for you three, and she kind of like sort of nuzzles against you, and then she looks up at all of you, and she says, "Come inside,
How?
Okay.
back door."
Okay.
Back door, and I immediately fly.
Okay, but when they say that, I just turn to everyone else in the queue and just say, we'll get to the bottom of this. Here. And I'm just going to cantrip bonfire so that they can like get warm around the bonfire.
I love that.
Just somewhere on, not quite on the street, but like out of the way where everyone can just cluster around and get like a little bit warmer.
Yes, I just love the idea of this like bonfire shooting up just on stone. People immediately catch on, and at first you can see the disgruntled expressions. They're looking a bit like, where do you think you're going? And this cat is like now bringing you into the inner circle, and we're still stood out here in the cold. But the moment that the bonfire goes up, the mood very swiftly changes. And this dwarven gentleman says, "Well, they seem to know Mara. Perhaps they can uncover what's going on here. Get some sticks, keep it going." And then people start kind of throwing various bits of foliage onto this bonfire to kind of huddle around. Very good. You brought back a little community spirit. You've no longer got quite such disgruntled people on the doorstep, which may serve you well later. All right, so you make your way inside. Is there anything that Latch or Oliver are doing? Obviously, Oliver's gone careening off ahead. Latch, what is it that you're doing at this point?
I think, considering my background, I'm going to be looking at. I'm just going to be keeping an eye out for any clues as to what may have happened. Anything out of place, any sign of breaking and entering, those kind of things.
Yeah, no worries. Roll a perception check for me.
All right. Oh, that's a natural one. So I think maybe the cat is sort of weaving between my legs, and I'm just sort of distracted by like, oh, okay,
distracted by this
jumps
cat
out of
trying
my arms.
you've
You
really tried to take note of the usual things, but BP is helping, as cats are prone to do, helping you to find the direction. Seems convinced because you keep stopping and looking at things. BP has become convinced that you have forgotten the way to the back door, so is trying to nudge you along with quite some urgency. And you make your way to the back door, and BP goes, "Come in," and hops through a cat flap.
Latch kind of turns to the others and says, I think this is probably something for me. I hope Mara doesn't mind.
I can get in, no problem, but we should all be able to get in.
Yeah,
That would be nice. Yeah. So I know one of you is quite small and could possibly get in no real issues. One of you would have the ability to transform into something quite small and can probably get into no issues. Latch, you might find yourself with some more difficulty, and you do obviously try the door. The door is locked. But this is now. Hopefully, this doesn't mean this isn't where our adventure ends when you roll the natural one trying to. But let's see if we can unlock the door.
Sweet. I think I've got a +9 to this, so it should be okay.
Okay.
I'm hoping so.
I rolled a 4, so 9, 10, 11, 12. That's the 13. Yeah.
13. Yeah, 13 will do it. It's not a particular. This is a very warm, inviting. It's a town that is it's quite trusting of each other. You know that Mara has not got a particularly. You're used to sort of these really complex dungeon puzzles to get into places. Mara's back door is not presenting the same level of challenge. Thank goodness.
He insisted we use the basic lock, and I wanted him to use the more complex one, but I suppose it's good in this scenario.
In fact, yeah, I think that you'd actually be a little bit disappointed in Mara.
Yeah.
Probably having come to help Mara a lot, and kind of with your background, you've probably been trying to push a more secure system on the locks and everything, and just being like, if you use something like this, and Mara is always very like, oh yeah, that's great, and it's never used. And still the same thing, which is a little disappointing, but in this case you'll allow it.
Yeah, I'm the fantasy equivalent of the person who's always like, you should get a VPN.
Oh my goodness, you are that person. Okay, so you kind of make your way in, and much of the cafe, even in the you're kind of in the back rooms now, so you kind of find yourself in this almost little corridor. Much of the cafe is in darkness. It's very it feels like it's been abandoned, I suppose, for a little while. There's kind of this stillness in the air, as if the air hasn't been disturbed very well for some time. And when you kind of make your way in, Latch, and I suppose Aaliyah, probably, if you know Latch is unlocking the door, you wouldn't have wouldn't have transformed.
Yeah.
But you kind of make your way in, and BP looks back at you impatiently, and then begins to mutter to herself about big two-leggeds needing to take more time to get through their ultra complicated door, and sort of says, Mara missing.
We noticed.
Can you tell us how long? Is that something within your capability? Without wanting to sound rude.
I'm not dumb.
She's not dumb.
She kind of tilts her head and is like, 3 moons?
That's not good.
Okay.
But we knew you were coming.
Okay.
How did you know we were coming?
Mara said.
Ah.
In 3 moons' time, special guests.
Aw. Did he leave any information?
He went to visit Lady.
Did he leave any pieces of paper?
Not sure. Oh, the cat's in here. And then she runs.
Oh.
So, I mean, you can, she kind of runs into what you know to be, or I guess, I guess you probably have never been really in the back rooms, but you can kind of see the corridor leads off into like a much bigger room, and you can hear like bits of movement in there, so you can probably guess or presume that this is where the cats seem to be assembled, and they're kind of waiting. They're waiting for you, but you are welcome also to have a little look around if you wish, before going in to see them.
If it's been so many days, maybe we should try and make sure the little mewing creatures have food and water.
I think that's our biggest priority right now, for sure.
Yes. So you would probably see to your left, kind of leads into a kitchen, which is not where the cats are, but is most likely where it's not like the main kitchen of the cafe. It's like a smaller area, and you can kind of see food and bowls. Roll for me, Arcana, actually, all of you.
Okay. This die did not fail me last time. Okay.
Olive got a 10.
Oh, my -1 brings it to an 18.
Nice. Mine was a 14.
14, 18, 14, and 10, did you say?
Yes.
So Olive probably won't have really noted this. Latch, you have kind of been helping Mara on and off for a little while, and you've lived here. Obviously, you know quite well the way that the cafe works. You would probably know enough that you know that the cafe it has its own kind of magic, like that's kind of within the building itself. When you've had to like help with like various techie bits and kind of like smithing bits around and stuff, and helping Mara out, you had to kind of work with a little bit, like the magic that's within the building, and that magic is kind of like purpose built for it to be a cat cafe and for it to be like a provider of sort of comfort and safety, and to look after cats. And you would also know this, Aaliyah, from your extensive conversations that you've had with the cats of exactly how everything here works. So I think that you would know enough to know that the cats are not actually provided for by Mara, but that the kind of like the food and the bowls and everything, they magically kind of refill themselves, as and when is needed, and to cater specifically to the needs and the preferences of the cats. Equally, litter trays, self-scooping. Every
Oh, that
cat
sounds like a
owner's
dream.
It does, doesn't it? Thus, such is fantasy, and the reason why we play TTRPGs is to escape the litter tray. So yeah, so you kind of you realize, I think you would know enough about the cafe and the way that the cafe worked, the two of you certainly would, to know that it will have kept looking after the cats so long as the magic of the cafe seems to be intact. And with both of those Arcana rolls, you would get the sense that it is. The sort of the physical stuff, the lights going out and everything like that, is to do with Mara himself. So that's a Mara thing where Mara has not returned and kind of lit the lights again, but everything else seems to be running okay, and that's a relatively good sign, actually, because perhaps things would be going a little bit more wrong if something terrible had happened to Mara.
Okay, well, BP said that he had gone to see a lady friend, but he
Mhm.
wouldn't be gone for this long. He knew that we were coming.
Yeah. Would I know of any kind of like address book that Mara might keep around the cafe? That I could like the lady friend is a very vague kind of
Yeah,
category.
literally, the cat just said, "Gone to see lady."
Ah,
So yeah, I think
And that's not particularly helpful.
yeah.
Could genuinely be anyone.
Yeah. So probably want to go and question the cats some more to see if they have any further information about who this person is.
For what it's worth, Aaliyah, you would know that there might be a couple more slightly more sensible cats to speak to than
Absolutely.
BP. BP is a very excitable, passionate cat that tends to obtain information on a need to know basis. And even then, only if the mood strikes her.
And generally, she does not need to know.
Then basically yes, you've hit the nail on the head there. I mean, there might be some, you might, if you speak to all of the cats, they might be able to give you a little bit more. But in terms of things that might be around, Latch, I think that you would probably be the person that would know the layout of the back rooms the best. Having kind of helped out a little bit, you probably know that you can kind of see straight on. There's some stairs leading up upstairs. You would know that Mara's sort of like private. It's very much like a multi-purpose room, which is like Mara's place. It's got like everything up there. It's like the office, the bedroom. The Mara just likes to have everything in kind of like one room. So all of Mara's bits and bobs would be up there if there's anything that you wanted to have a look at.
Cool. I think I'll wait until we've had a cat chat, and then after that, if we need any extra information, I'll refrain from invading Mara's privacy until absolutely necessary.
Absolutely necessary. All right. In which case, you're all heading in to chat with the cats then, is that correct?
Sounds like
All
it.
right.
Yes.
Good thing, because BP was about to start getting real impatient, as BP is prone to be. So you head into this room, and it is something of a slightly like it's slightly unnerving, because the cats normally are very like they're not static. They're very, all over the place. You can't go anywhere without tripping over a cat or anything like that. But here they actually seem to have congregated with purpose and intent. And you find yourself in like quite a cozy sort of like living room space. It's definitely purposefully designed for the cats. It seems to be where they feel most comfortable. There are cat trees absolutely everywhere, sort of like shelves and stuff for them to kind of climb around, jump around, scratching posts that remain completely unused, sofas that are totally torn to shreds. Do I own a cat? Yes. And sort of like lots and lots of like various different like sort of like very comfy pillows and purpose built cat beds, and then like cardboard boxes and sort of various like random scraps of material that seem to be more favored by those cats. There is sort of on the far end of the room, as you kind of get closer to the room and you walk in, there is something quite large and that definitely sticks out to you. It is a sort of it looks like a kind of like pool of energy. It is like a portal, and it's kind of glowing. It's kind of shimmering in and out of existence. I mean, it's kind of giving off this slight pinky purple glow, as it were. But it seems not really to be doing anything beyond that. You see a cat curled up sleeping next to it, a sort of tabby cat, looks quite elderly, and she's sort of curled up asleep, a brown tabby cat. You see a couple of cats, and you would know that that is Rena, Aaliyah, that is kind of curled up asleep. You see another sort of older cat, quite grey fur, quite fluffy, which is Cass. He seems to be kind of like overviewing and keeping the other cats kind of in order and keeping them calm. You see a calico looking cat, and tortoiseshell, and they're kind of huddled together. The calico cat is like ginger and brown. It's got a white tummy, and they're kind of, is looking a little anxious. Whereas the tortoiseshell just looks. The tortoiseshell has these sort of eyes that give them the slight look as if they're a little like, and I think I've probably made this joke to you already, but like they're a little bit like an impoverished Victorian orphan. Like they just look constantly sad. But you would know, having spoken to, because this is Millie, having spoken to Millie, that Millie is actually quite content most of the time. And the other cat, the calico cat, is Kippers. You also see all of the cats are here. Aiko is here, which is sort of like a very black fluffy cat, and Pippin, which is a sort of like grey white with like brownish socks and fur. A little bit like a Siamese cat, known for very big pupils that are almost constantly blown up. You know when cats, like, they see something that they're hunting and the pupils just go like that, just almost constantly like that. Pippin is around the coffee a lot, and that could be why. But yeah, they're kind of all like in sort of various spaces around the room. They're not like gathered together in a circle or anything like that, but they seem which would be terrifying, actually, I think, if they were.
That's what I
no
was
meow
picturing at first.
Just in this congregation, just, and all of them just look at you, the eyes glowing. This just turned into a horror stream, everyone. No, so they're kind of like doing their own things. They're trying to calm each other down, but there's like a sense of tension in the air. They are stressed out, which definitely means that they don't really know what's going on themselves, or certainly elements of what has happened they are uncertain of. Something is not quite right. And they kind of all look at you expensively, and the moment that they get their eyes on you, the cacophony of mews begins, and you can hear all of them in your head, which is very, very disconcerting, as they're all just like talking over each other. They have no regard for each other's contribution to the conversation. They're just like, you came, you're here, oh, we're expecting you, oh, Mara's missing, Mara, help us. And it just kind of is like this in your head, and they kind of winding around your legs.
I immediately drop down to the ground and just like will let any that wants to clamber on me do so.
Oh, which they absolutely do. I think I'm gonna just give you like a passive animal handling score in my head. Just because I just think you spent enough time with them. You're probably in here a lot, interacting with the cats. So I think that they know you specifically, and they've chatted with you a lot, so
I've absolutely come in here chilling as a cat for as long as I'm able to at times.
But you know
Just
this
to,
room
like,
well,
see
then.
if Mara would notice.
In which case, the portal is you've always kind of got this, where the wall that it's kind of like against, you always got this sense that like this wall is specifically very empty. Like it's everywhere else in the room is so full up of things, and then you've just got this like one very blank wall, but you've never seen this any kind of energy or anything on it like there is now. But right now it's kind of slightly glowing, and while the others are kind of doing their own thing, Rena is kind of sitting by it, and you know this is Rena's preferred spot, but seems distant, like a little distantly removed from the cats in it, and is fast asleep, while the others are awake and a little bit more energetic and engaged with what's going on.
All right. We need everyone to just talk one at a time.
One at a time. Yeah, we'll talk one at a time. Okay, one at a time. Sure thing.
Okay. I'll go to a corner. One of you can come with me to a corner. Maybe one can go with Latch, and one can go with Alia, and then we can try and get conversations out.
Honestly,
I'd
probably
like
a
you
good
to
idea.
roll an animal handling check for me.
Jeez. Oh my goodness. Animal handling. Huh. That is 14 total.
14's not bad. I think that they get what you're saying, and they kind of do start to sort of segregate a little bit. A couple of them follow you, and then they kind of like walk past Aaliyah and then turn and start following Aaliyah. They still seem a little like confused by the instructions, but it's not that they're not willing to follow the instructions. But they kind of you do end up with one cat, BP, kind of follows you over and is just like, hey, I'm good at following instructions.
You definitely seem like it, BP.
Mara's missing.
Yes, you said.
Yeah.
And do
Went
you
to
know...
see Lady. Gone long time.
Did Mara never say with Lady's name?
Lady is Lady.
Lady's Lady. So her lady's name is Lady?
Yeah, Mara calls her Lady.
Lady.
She's all our lady.
All your lady. Have you met Lady?
Long time ago.
Long time ago. A kitten. Oh. Okay. Well, maybe we need more talk with other cats. Maybe they know.
Okay. So we go back over there, and she kind of looks back to where the rest of the cats are kind of.
You know, BP, you worked so hard. You went and got us. You need a snack.
Snack?
Snack.
Like treat?
Yes, treat. Can't say that too loud. You did a lot of work. Let's go get you a treat.
All right. As you say that, this little like in the wall, this huge, this like sort of small hole sort of appears in the wall. It gets really big, and then when you say "Don't say that too loud," it kind of like shrinks back up again, and this tiny little treat pops out and lands in your hand.
Okay. Here you go, BP. You put my hand down for them.
And BP kind of like sniffs and then takes the treat from you. Meanwhile, the rest of the cats, as you kind of like try to get into separate corners of the room, let's see. I think that probably Millie and Kippers kind of stick together, and they follow you, Latch, and they're like, hey,
Hi. Yes. Wow. This must be what Alia feels like all the time. Cool. Okay. Do you know anything
Kippers kind
about
of
the?
begins to start circling around you and nuzzling against you. I'm kind of scared.
Yeah, that's okay. It's okay to be scared, but we'll fix it. We'll find Mara and bring him back, and it'll be okay.
Yeah.
All right. Do you know anything about the glowy portal and where it goes?
Lady. Goes to lady.
Do you know what Lady looks like?
Millie at this point kind of like comes forward and it's just like, haven't seen lady for quite some time actually.
Okay. How long?
And don't tell them you're scared. Never show fear.
Okay. I mean that's certainly a strategy, and gotta respect that. But yeah. Do you have any information about Lady that is not just Lady?
Lady, let me see exactly what they know.
Meanwhile, Aaliyah is just like on the floor with all of the other cats just crowding all around them.
Lady and Mara have an agreement.
Okay. What kind of agreement?
Mara looks after us. Lady makes cafe.
Oh, is Lady magic?
Oh yeah, super magic.
Okay.
Oh, magic.
Interesting. So,
Mara always goes to visit Lady though.
and do
Lady
you
is
know?
good.
Okay. Uh, how often does Mara go and visit Lady?
Like, depends. Sometimes, loads of times in few moons. Sometimes, few times in lots of moons.
Okay, interesting.
Recently, though, lots of times.
Has the cafe magic been working okay?
Cafe, okay. Um, roll for me. I want to say persuasion. I want to say persuasion. Millie's. I don't know why I've made my cat like this. For those of you that in the chat, I'm cameoing our cat, and I'm trying my best to stick to their stick to their personalities. And I've made Millie super standoffish, and I have no idea why. Millie's very to the point.
Yeah, I've got an 18 on persuasion.
18 on persuasion. Okay. Millie sort of relaxes a little. Cafe, okay. And then kind of looks across to Rena. Rena sad, Mara worried.
Oh, okay. Do you think Mara went to see Lady to help with Rena?
Could be.
Okay. Thank you. That's helpful. Yeah, I'll do my. We'll all do our best to get Mara back.
We don't need you to get Mara back.
Oh,
We had a democratically elected committee conversation. We're going to get Mara back. We need you to help run the cafe.
okay. Oh, all right. I mean, yeah, I've helped out a bunch before. I can certainly do that. If
You're
you're sure.
humanoid. We cats. We can only do so much.
Fair. All right. Yeah. Ooh, I hope that Mara got the coffee machine fixed so it doesn't burn you every time you try and make a latte. Okay. Yeah.
Note that down for skill challenge later. All right. And at this point, Aaliyah, you kind of go off to your little corner, and most of the cats followed Aaliyah. I'm gonna be honest. There's a clear favorite. Aaliyah has definitely paid the cats a lot of attention in the past. They kind of, so they're still clamoring a little bit. There's still a lot of like talking over each other. But at this point, Cass kind of steps over towards you, and he clears his throat, and he clearly has a position of authority, and he goes, "Oh, now settle down, settle down, settle down. Humanoids, they can't quite keep up in the way that we can with each other. Just hello, pleasure as always, pleasure as always. Aaliyah, thank you for coming to our aid, most noble of you. You've probably gathered by now from my colleagues, but Mara has gone quite missing.
I did notice that, yes.
Yes, for a few days. We were expecting Mara to be back before this. And of course, the cafe has to be open, you understand?
Yes, of course. But what do you want us to do about it?
You're to help us. You're friends of Mara's. And
Yes, of
you know
course.
how to there are machinery and things here that cats are not able to operate, you understand? We do not have, what is it you humans call them? Thumbs? That's the one.
Scratch under his
The
chin a little bit.
pincers. Ah, yeah. Oh, yes. A little to the left. Little to the left. Oh, that spot has been bugging me. Thank you. My own cat is Millie's here to come and correct the injustice of the way that I have presented her. So she's giving me a right old look now. Hello, darling. I'm so sorry. I've made you quite mean. But you're not mean, really. So you'll help us?
Of course. We're friends. We're all friends.
I'm sure you've
But-
noticed the lines outside. We're not really sure what to do about it all. We, 1 or 2 days is fine, but this is the holiday period. This is when we make the most money and we get the most, interactions with the customers, and we don't want to disappoint anyone.
I'm really curious what he knows about money now. It's shiny.
Yeah, what are you talking about? Oh, the thing that the humans
The
give, and then
coins.
we give them the. Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yes. Pippin deals with all that.
I
I don't know much about this fangled metal, and I don't understand it really.
So you don't want us to find Mara?
Oh no, we can. BP has volunteered to go through the portal and see if they can find what's happened to our. I'm sure that Mara is fine. Just some complication, unforeseen. But in the meantime, BP is the most adventurous of us. You see.
Okay.
And
Is she going by herself?
absolutely, yes. The rest of us need to be here to run the cafe.
Right. Shouldn't she go with a friend?
We
one other
have
person?
democracy, a democratic election. It was quite smart of us, really, considering we're cats.
Okay, just make sure that she knows that she should come back in a certain amount of time if she doesn't find him. We don't want her to
And
get lost.
Rena guards the portal. Rena is very special. Rena is magically in tune with the portal. knows when if there's problems, you see. But she's asleep.
Huh.
This seems to be fine.
Okay. I didn't know that about her. Now I do. I will keep that
Oh,
in
she's
mind.
quite, she's quite modest.
Okay, well, yeah, we can help with the cafe. I've seen Mara make coffee. It can't be that hard, right? It is
Well,
that hard.
Mara makes it look so easy, and Echo will be there to help you. We will be helping you, of course, providing all of the we cats know how it runs here, so we'll give you all the tips and the tricks. All we need you to do is confusing humanoid stuff.
We can do that. We can handle that.
Perfect. Oh, great.
Hopefully.
Absolutely. Let's see, shall we? All right. So the cats kind of they kind of they're very excited now. They seem a lot more relaxed now that you've agreed to kind of help out with the cafe. They're almost excited about being able to open up and to see all the customers again. And they essentially give you sort of 3 tasks, which will allow you to divvy up amongst yourselves. One of you will need to aid Kippers and Millie in essentially sort of serving food, restocking, running around and chatting with the customers, essentially. One of you will need to aid Pippin with being at the till, taking the orders, managing the queue, counting the money, and kind of like making like the to-go orders. And one of you needs to be in the kitchen with Echo, helping with the sort of special blends and special orders and the making of the food.
I would probably suggest that I should be in a less front-facing role. Just
Okay.
I mean, if you really need me to, I'll do my best. But yeah, I get nervous.
I'm in here a lot. I can handle customers.
Okay.
Cool.
Olive, do you have preference?
I think I can do the running around. My wings make it possible to avoid any obstacles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm manning the till.
I am
Helping the till.
serving.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So we have Aaliyah manning the till, and managing the queue, and shall we say managing customer expectations. We have we have Olive running around doing sort of the restocking and the serving the food and chatting with the customers and kind of keeping them happy and keeping them lively. And we have Latch in the kitchen helping Echo with sort of like food preparation and preparing like the special blends, the very special blends of like, because Toe Beans, and for those of you watching, Toe Beans comes with some amazing like assets, including like menus and like little tea bags, labels and even like loyalty cards. So if you're playing this as like around a table, you can kind of give your players like a lot of like physical props, which is really nice and probably like one of my favorite things about it. So you're kind of like helping with the creation of the food and everything like that. All right. I think what I'm gonna do actually is I'm gonna send us to break now. And then after break, we will kind of like do those skill challenges and we'll kind of like finish up. But I think if we go to break now, this seems like a good kind of stopping point. How is everyone feeling okay with that? Yeah?
Yeah.
We all good with that? All right. So we're going to be on break for about 10-15 minutes. So we'll be back at about 25 past That sounds good. And I say 25 past 9, like we're all in the same time zone. 25 past the hour, I guess. And yeah, so thank you so much for joining us. If you've been here with us so far, we are having a lot of fun, I hope, and we will be back soon. And we will see how our players get on in managing retail during the festive rush. Not quite what they had in mind. Will it be worse than a dungeon? Probably.
See, content warning, retail drama.
Retail drama. I should have absolutely working that myself. I should have put that in the content warning. So I apologize, everyone. All right. Cheerio. See you soon. Hello, everyone. We have returned. We are here currently. If you have just joined us or joined us during the break or sort of during the first half, we are here playing a D&D 5e game, but it is a cozy cat cafe module written by the wonderful Fistful of Crits called Tobeans, and that is the name of the cafe, Tobeans Cafe. And so far, our players have discovered that their beloved, the owner of their beloved cat cafe has mysteriously gone missing. And so they have attempted to try to figure out what might have happened, but the cats seem far more preoccupied. They would rather that the humans instead just help them run the cafe. So that is what they're going to be doing. So first up, if I'm remembering correctly, we had our lovely Olive, who is going to be doing lots of running around, or flying around, I should say, being a fairy, serving food, doing the restocking, running around and chatting with the customers, with Kippers and Millie. You would, I think, all have a little bit of familiarity with the cats. Kippers and Millie tend to take on the more front-facing customers because they're exceptionally friendly, despite Millie's slightly abrasive nature of the conversation. Millie is very good at setting boundaries, And Kippers is very good at sort of easing the anxiety of certain customers that might be feeling a little bit overwhelmed, and sort of being there to kind of be the cat. When you go to a cat cafe, you always want to meet that one cat that's very friendly and wants to be sort of stroked and given lots of love and attention. And Kippers is that cat. I guess Millie is there to kind of keep an eye and make sure that no one takes too much advantage of that. But so you kind of so you get to kind of get to your stations, I suppose, and you get ready to go. And the doors open. They actually magically open by themselves. The cafe seems to have an innate understanding of when it is time to open the doors. And your first customer walks in. They kind of come in quite a throng. They've been waiting, and as much as they've formed an orderly queue outside, there's still that level of impatience. What I am tracking here, essentially, is how well you do with the customers in general, and whether overall they leave with a positive impression of the day, or perhaps a more negative one. Now, I'm going to actually put a tick in the positive direction because of the previously set bonfire that has allowed them to kind of warm up, and they're in much more festive spirits, and they are, of course, happy to see the cat cafe open. They seem to be a bit more accepting that you are not there to steal their spot in the queue, but you are in fact Mara's help. Mara must be away on some kind of business and has kind of enlisted your help to keep things running smoothly. So you've already got a little tick in your favor, everyone, now. So well done for that. But your first customer sort of walks in, and to perhaps your surprise, Olive, as you kind of go to greet them and get them settled down. There is a dog on a lead with this customer. She's an elven lady. She's got quite long hair, and she sort of almost immediately she goes, "Oh, it's a bit cold out there. My usual seat's okay," and sort of indicates over towards the fire.
Yes, of course, it is okay.
Sorry, I don't think we've met. My name's Belle.
Hi, Olive. We are helping today, so enjoy.
Great. This is Rocket. Sorry, I'm normally used to, Mara normally knows dogs, and she kind of leaves it. She's like, dogs aren't really allowed in the cafe, but Rocket's an exception.
Yes, she is.
Okay. And I look to Millie and Kipper and just be like, "Is that true? You two would know."
They kind of look up and they go,
Okay, we're good. So yeah, go take your seat. Do you need a menu or do you have a usual? Not that I know your usual.
Yeah, lavender latte, please. Oh, I've
Okay.
been dying for a lavender latte. And Rocket's food, of course. And the lion.
Okay. Rocket's food.
Oh, you don't know. Sorry. There's always food for Rocket here. There's I think it's in the kitchen somewhere. There's dog food. And Rocket has a toy, a little lion toy.
Okay, Rocket food, Rocket's lion toy, and your latte. Okay. Take your seat,
Perfect.
it'll be
Thank
right
you.
there.
Thank you. Oh, you're great. She kind of like stumps her boots and off she goes, and then she sort of sits down. I would like you to now. So I have checks in place, but I'm willing to be persuaded otherwise. If you have other methods of you think that you would use to kind of do things, but I would like you to roll an investigation check to see if you can locate Rocket's dog food and locate this lion toy that belongs to Rocket.
Okay. Olive is very unsure, so she's just gonna gonna guidance herself and just be like, "Oh, I can do this."
Love that.
All right. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. And then okay. So I have 0 bonuses in investigation, but I rolled a natural 18 plus 4, 22.
Hey! Oh, Rocket is not gonna go sad.
No.
So you make your way, and you think to yourself, food, it's got to be in the kitchen. You head into the kitchen. Latch is already kind of getting set up in there, and Aiko kind of looks up at you as you're kind of forward into the cupboard and is like, "You need something?"
Rockets, food, and toy.
Two
Am I
cupboards
walking for
along,
the
second shelf
person?
right at the back.
Okay. Flip her over.
That's where the food is. Toy somewhere about. But with that role of investigation, you find the food pretty easily, thanks to the directions that you're given. But the toy proves a little more elusive. Eventually, though, well, I say eventually. Actually, with an 18, you find out pretty quickly. You kind of like dart around from place to place, your little wings flapping, and you can get places pretty speedily because of it. So you kind of find yourself flying through the house, and sort of eyes glancing around, and just behind, behind a cat scratching post, you see this little like tail poking out that seems to look like a lion's tail. And you kind of fly down, and sure enough, it's this kind of well loved, shall we say, toy lion. And you see no other, so it's got to be that one. You kind of pick it up. And off you go back, and you have successfully managed to appease Rocket and Belle. They're very happy with the very speedy service that they have received here. In getting, and Belle goes, "Oh, you found it! Wow, that was so quick. Sorry, I know there's a lot of demands, and it's a lot of you've just opened, and I get it, I totally get it. But thank you so much.
We
We really appreciate
your
it.
patience. So we're good. Good.
And Rocket kind of like gives you a little lick, and then sort of settles by the fire, gives this little toy lion a little sniff, and then takes it in paws and sort of curls up by the fire and promptly falls asleep. And they seem quite happy. So you have passed your first skill check. I'm going to move it through, and I'm going to kind of keep rotating around. So meanwhile,
can I do one thing?
Go for it. Yeah, go for it.
Because this could help others.
Sure, absolutely.
I recover from the panic of doing a good job, I'm going to do a warding bond, so everybody gets a +1 to AC and saving throws and resistance to all damages in case someone gets burnt.
I absolutely love that. And yeah, it's like, in case someone gets, as if something like that could happen here in the cafe. All right. Well, that being said, then we will quickly move over then to where Aaliyah is up at the till, ready to go, ready for action. And obviously, sort of Belle kind of moved in and immediately moved to the sofa. But the others have come, and they're kind of like walking into the building, and there's quite a throng of people that come, and they just want their orders to go. They've been waiting for quite some time. They got places to go. They might have afternoon shifts. They're working kind of themselves, or they're the afternoon customers. They're here to get their coffee and stuff before they go shopping. And so you're kind of at we're at lunchtime rush at this point. By the time that the cafe is opened, it's not had that sort of natural opening at an early hour, and then slowly getting more and more people. You've got like the whole horde have come in. And at first, the first person kind of gets to the queue, and they kind of give off their order, and they're like, "Oh, one Singapore shake, please." And just as you start to kind of like get down and get used to the system. Another person goes, oh, and then I want a main coffee, a main maple, please, and they're kind of like all talking a lot at once, and there's a lot of that. Now I would love to throw a wisdom saving throw at you, which you know, that
Sure.
warding bond will be very useful. It's a +1, you said, didn't you?
Mhm.
Perfect. Oh, well, because we've moved on to you. Wait, I have a bit.
You have a bit.
I have a bit. I copied this. I copied this from. I copied this from Ella in our Wonder Home game. Every time Ella played a new NPC, to put a different pair of gloves and like scarf on. So I was like, I need to get multiple cat ears. So I'm probably gonna halfway through completely forget this, but for now, this is what we're doing. So you're up at the till. Pippin is helping you. Pippin is the gorgeous sort of like a white cat with the brown socks and the sort of brownish face, and the huge pupils, a little twitchy, spends a lot of time inhaling coffee fumes from the kind of like the making of the coffee, and is trying to help you. Is sort of like repeating the orders back at you again, but it might be confusing things slightly. But yes, please roll a wisdom saving throw for me.
This die that I was gifted at MCM London has not failed me yet.
Oh, you say that.
I have cursed it, but you know what? Not too bad. Not too bad. Dirty 20.
A dirty, not too bad. Not too bad,
I
she
didn't know
says,
what the
as she
modifier
rolls
was.
a dirty 20. You absolutely remind me of my Theros group so much, because they've literally, anything that they roll that's below a 25, they are now unhappy with. And it's just like, they're just like, oh, it's only a 25. And I'm like, well, describe to me, because the dirty 20 isn't sexual. Describe to me how you managed to kind of sift through this information, because it's understandable that they're a bit impatient.
Mhm.
Some of them, one's clutching a sleeping bag. Maybe they've been here for 3 days. You don't know. So, like,
Jeez.
it's kind of understandable. But obviously, how do you think that Aaliyah would kind of deal with this influx of information?
I feel like she's used to it from the cats. Like, especially when she herself turns into a cat and she's like heard the like cacophony of voices before. And so she's just like, okay, right, I've got this. Listening to things, multiple things. I can't do this myself, but like just marking things down, like drawing like a little note of like who has ordered what, to just be like, guy with the blue hair. A woman with a very nice peacock pin. Things
Yes.
like that.
Yeah.
Like just trying to remember who ordered what, and there's like so many pieces of paper just all over the place. Okay, hold please. This might take just a little bit of while, but I will get everything out. Yes.
And you kind of find that actually, like, they do that thing where they all kind of come at you, and then there's that like awkwardness where, as you kind of like write things down, and they kind of have this like moment of like appreciation of like, oh, actually we're all coming on a little strong, and they try to dial it back a little bit. And as you repeat orders back to them, you can see that they're low-key impressed, actually. Like, you're kind of going, okay, so it's a banyan yam milkshake for you, and it was, and they're kind of like, oh, whoa, this
So
person,
apparently I'm
wow.
Kronk.
Yeah, yeah, basically you're Kronk. And they're kind of like quite impressed by it. And you see, because of that, like, they're gonna be a little bit more patient in terms of how long things take, because they know, like, there's only 2 of you. They can see it now. And so they kind of like dial it back, and they wait for their orders, and they're very like much more, I guess, like forgiving, I suppose. Boy, we know we're playing fantasy now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that is another step in the direction of positivity, which, you know, I'm very impressed. Y'all are killing it, to be honest. So then let us move to Latch. The first orders are starting to come in now. You are helping in the kitchen with Aiko. Aiko just seems to kind of be like going from place to place, does seem to have a pretty good understanding of what's going on, but doesn't fully understand how to operate the machinery or anything like that. That is normally Mara's domain, because it is for people that have thumbs. And so that's where you come in. Now, I have written here that in order to help understand sort of the magical mixing process and the technology that's kind of being implemented and the way that it interacts with the cafe itself, because the cafe itself is definitely kind of almost alive in its own way. You can see as like Eiko is kind of like shouting out things and barking, that certain pieces of machinery are kind of moving around as if to say, oh, like, you're going to need me. And so to kind of get that understanding, I have written to roll an Arcana check. But like I said, I'm always willing to be asked if you could roll something different or if you think a different skill will help you better. So please.
It would be very much in my favor to roll an investigation check, because Latch is very much keyed into noticing little details and how things fit together and that kind of thing. So if that is possible, then that would be really great.
Absolutely. I can 100% see investigation, and Latch taking a much more practical outlook on it. So go for it. Roll investigation for me.
Nice. That is 15 plus 8.
Great. Lovely.
This.
So yes, you are all killing it in the very beginning. You deal with that kind of a initial rush of customers, and obviously with the initial rush of customers, that initial rush of orders is quite overwhelming, Latch. But your particular skill set has always required a level of patience, and a level of kind of, it's good that you're kind of not in the front facing kind of thing, because that can be quite overwhelming. Here it's just you and the machinery around you and just getting to understand it, and without the pressure of being able to see all those kind of like eyes on you waiting for you to get everything together. I forgot to change my ears. See, it's already slipping. You find yourself able to this one looks more like foxes, to be honest, be in tune with kind of like the machinery around you, and you almost kind of get lost in like this like a bit of a trance as you investigate. Some of it is quite familiar to you, and you kind of pick it up immediately. Some of it is really quite intriguing the way it works, but yeah, you can kind of get on board with the way this is, and you do an excellent job, and that is another point in favor of the cafe, to be honest. You're just smashing these challenges already, and so the initial rushing around and dealing with a slightly more difficult customer that's come in and then immediately want their sort of very specific demands met has been met. The throng of customers, their orders have been taken, and their orders have been met pretty quickly, like those that ordered kind of food and the more specific blends, I suppose, they have been taken quite quickly. So we'll kind of roll around again and we'll head back to Olive. You kind of work your way around. Kippers and Millie are kind of doing a really good job of like interacting with the customers and noticing who is kind of like in need of attention and everything like that. And this one group is overwhelmingly more noticeable than the rest, because it is a mother, a sort of female orc, and her group of sort of 5 or 6 very loud children, and they are all kind of looking around at all the cats and in awe and in wonder. You get the feeling that they're regulars. They know the place quite well. They're kind of running around and they seem to know where they're going. One of them sort of starts to shout out, "Where's BP?" and then the rest of them are all looking for BP. They all seem to be quite a fan of BP's. However, BP has gone through a portal and is not here, and you can see them starting to get a little bit upset by this. Their mother is starting to get a little bit overwhelmed and trying to keep them kind of quiet and in order and patient. But they want their food, they want their drink, they want BP, and none of these things are quite here and ready for them yet. So tell me, Olive, I have here a charisma check of your choice, but please enlighten me. How do you think that you would deal with this particular issue?
I think it would be charisma.
Mm-hmm.
As Olive flutters over with all the kids, it's like, you're fans of BP. I am also a fan of BP. But BP has a very good message to send along. He is super sad, or she's super sad she can't play with you, but she's on an amazing adventure. I don't know. Have you all been good to hear about this? I don't know. Can you take a seat and be good so I can tell you?
Ooh. So I feel like that's kind of falls along persuasion. So please roll for me persuasion then.
Okay. Can I guidance myself? No, this is saving through it.
No, it's a persuasion check. It's a persuasion check. So you can absolutely guidance yourself.
Guidance. Because I am not charisma. Ha! Ah! Okay. Okay. Persuasion. It's flat. So that is a 14 total.
14. Not bad. You kind of catch the attention of a couple of the kids. The others are still a little bit grisly. They're still a little bit impatient and upset. But the younger children definitely are. But the older children are kind of in tune, and they do start to ask questions. And they're just like, "We're super good. Where's BP gone?"
All right. Well, you say you're super good, so let's take a seat. And then I will reduce myself with my spell and land on the table and pick up a little, like one of those coffee stir sticks. So, BP went on a grand adventure through a mystical portal to find someone very, very important to the cats. And now they must head forth, the sole chosen one, to find their darling owner. And then I go on to this big story.
And they're like, wow, and they're kind of like really like invested. And as they become more invested, sort of younger children around them kind of like start to get a little engaged. Yeah, I think that that's a success. Not a raving success, but it's you kind of get them on board a little bit. And it allows Kippers and Millie, who had been kind of trying to pay all their attention to this one particular family, to kind of go off and address some of the other customers while you kind of grab their attention. So we will move on then. Now, Aaliyah, the throng just keeps coming. It is still quite a lot of people waiting, and you are finding that things are starting to take a little bit longer now as more and more orders come in, more complicated orders come in, because we're well and truly into lunchtime. So those initial people that were like, I just want my coffee and go, are kind of dying down, and now people are here to eat and people are wanting to sit down, and then it's about managing how long the wait times are for how long they can sit down for and everything like that. I have kind of rolled decks here, but again, I'm willing to be persuaded otherwise, because it's, for me, it was rolled decks just to kind of see how quickly you can kind of get around and do things and be over here, then over here, talking to this person, then like that. But I think a few different skills could probably apply to this one. So please tell me where you think that you would like to, sort of the speed of the preparation of the cafe.
I'm thinking Dex can work, and this is actually, to my detriment, is one less than Dex, but I almost feel like performance might be a good one. As I'm trying to make sure
Ooh.
that everyone is happy and content with everything that's happening too.
Performance.
But I'm okay with doing Dex too.
No, I think he could make performance work. Depending on how you went about doing it, but I think you could make performance work. Performance is very much about like sort of, I guess, like sort of putting on a face, and putting on
Mhm.
I guess, a front of everything is calm, everything's gonna work out. Like, don't stress, don't panic. So if you're kind of coming at it from that approach, then of course, by all means, roll performance for me.
Yeah. And legitimately, I'm saying this, it's giving me one less bonus to my roll, but I feel like that one works really well for this. I'm changing dice, which might be a mistake. We'll see. It was not a mistake because that's a 19 on the die.
Damn, you are
So that is a
killing it.
22.
22. Okay. All
Here,
right.
I'll add to her
22.
performance. She finds cat ears behind the
Yeah.
counter
Yeah.
and puts them on.
And you know what? I think the most outspoken customers that were starting to get a bit frustrated with the wait time. There's a group of guards. They have a very clear like shift that they need to get to, and they've been waiting for quite some time. And they begin making like comments about the wait time and how, if Mara were here, they would make sure that they were seen first because, they're important and they have a job to do and they defend the city. And there's that level of like privilege and entitlement that kind of comes with that a little bit. You kind of put on your cat ears, and I feel like you do an excellent job of kind of putting on like that smile, that sometimes the service industry and retail demands, that you need to be, even when you really really want to argue with someone and really want to tell them why they're not the most important person in the store, you need to be a little bit placating, but also not enough that other customers are feeling like they're not important too. So I think that you do a very good job of kind of managing their expectations, and you find that really their problem is not actually the wait time. It's just that they don't like to not know what's going on. They like to just kind of be informed every step of the way, and that is the reason why they're getting a little bit frustrated. Is they feel kind of ignored, and clearly they're the most important people in the room. Why are they being ignored?
Clearly.
So,
I find little cat treats to hand to each of them and tell them, go find your favorite cat and give them a little treat. They'll like it.
and they do, and they're very happy with that. Latch, it is your turn now. Here in the kitchen, things require a lot of tasting, and to make sure that the food is of standard. Echo is very very specific. You find very pernickety about how the perfection of everything. If something is not quite swirled right, if the coffee like froth art is not quite to the standard that it's supposed to be, it's a scrap it and start it again situation. So you find yourself doing an awful lot of sort of tasting of coffees, tasting of food, making sure that everything, like inhaling, making sure the smells right, all of this. And some of these blends, especially like the more special blends, there's some magic and things infused within them, and it starts to get a lot. So I would like you to make a Constitution saving throw for me. Do you have warding bond on you? I think you do. So you get a +1.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, despite being a dragonborn, Latch is a rather sort of skinny, slightly weedy looking dragonborn. has a sort of the look of a snake more than a dragon,
Okay,
and
okay.
little kind of curly horns coming up either side of their head, and so yeah, they're not they're kind of sort of reeling at the number of smells and tastes that they're having to get to grips with, and that is unfortunately a 5 plus 1, so a 6 on the con save. So this is our first.
Okay,
Yeah.
this is your first failure, but that's not so bad. That's okay. That's okay. You still are very much in the positives overall, but I would like you to tell me what happens to Latch and how Latch sort of starts to become a little bit overwhelmed by all of this.
Yeah, I think because Latch is a black dragonborn, so acid is their element. I think they start getting a little acid buildup, and they sort of snort, and little bits of acid kind of burst out of their nostrils, and they're like, "No, protect the food! Protect the food! Don't want to get acid in the food."
Just like little bits of the wooden countertop start to like fizzle a little
Yeah.
bit. And Echo's next to me and there's just her tail sort of like flicks with aggravation, and she's like, hey, watch it.
Sorry,
What's wrong with
sorry.
you?
I'm just this is a lot. I'm not used to this amount of tastes and smells, but that's fine.
Wait, you need to go take some fresh air?
Maybe for like 2 minutes, but I'll be right back. And
Okay,
yeah,
great. Yeah, it literally has to be 2 minutes though, because like there's a lot of people outside.
okay. I have a stopwatch. I'll use the stopwatch. It'll be exactly
Right.
2 minutes.
What's the stopwatch? Never mind. Let's go. And you kind of head outside, taking big gulps of air to try to how should we put this? Refresh the palate, and refresh the lungs. And meanwhile, now there is a system that if you have a negative result, the cafe itself responds to you not doing quite so well. So I am going to just roll
That's
here.
really cool.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? Let's see what I've got. All right. Yeah.
That's not
You
concerning at all.
you find that the everything seems to be okay. And then as customers, you kind of like did spit out a little bit of this acid, and Echo tried to protect some of the thing, but it kind of had a little bit of a funny effect on some of the machinery. It kind of like sizzled through a little bit, and affected slightly the way that the machinery works. Outside, Olive and Aaliyah, everything seems to be running normally, and then suddenly a customer nearby takes a sip of their drink and they hiccup, and some bubbles come out of their mouth, and they kind of look at the drink, and they kind of like get their throat, and they look up at you uncertainly, and nearby another customer kind of like takes a big swig, and then they hiccup, and then some more bubbles kind of come out. Something seems to be going a little bit wrong back of house.
This is a new special effect for your drinks. Hold on 1 second and we'll be right back to make sure that everything's good. And she just goes back to the back.
Yep. Can you make a deception roll for me, please, to try to calm them down?
Apparently, I can only roll good numbers. I feel like I need to take a picture of this. But that's a 22 total.
Well, luckily for you, the customers aren't in any pain. And they seem, you've been so friendly, and you've been so you've done so well with them so far, that they are put at ease. And a couple of the children kind of like start hiccuping on purpose, and like kind of like catching the bubbles. And they think they think that this is now part of the show, part of the drink. Olive, you can see that Aaliyah is definitely slightly making this up, and this is not expected or planned at all. But you kind of like join in, smiling, and just like, "Oh, isn't it fun?" As Aaliyah kind of like heads back of house. What are you doing?
Just trying to peek around and find Latch and make sure they're okay.
Latch, for your part, you take a few. The timer goes off, and you kind of make your way back inside, and Aaliyah is in the room looking a little bit concerned.
Hey,
Oh,
people
hi.
are hiccuping bubbles.
Oh no. Yeah, I had a little bit of acid reflux, literally. So that may have got into some of the machinery. Okay, let me just have a look and see if I can figure out what's wrong and fix it.
Well,
And as soon as you say figure out what's wrong and fix it, the very helpful cafe pushes forward the insulted machine in question that kind of lets off this like little bit of steam of like indignation. It's indignant that you have like kind of like slightly acid refluxed on it, and it just kind of, it almost like these kind of like two levers kind of like bend down almost as if they're crossing their arms, and it looks a little indignant at you.
Okay. Latch, what do you think that we're gonna need to do to fix this? Because I have a spell that might help one of us have an easier job of fixing it.
Oh, I'm not sure. I mean, I've got my tools with me if it's a mechanical issue, but if it's something more magical, you might be better placed
Oh,
to do that.
I mean, I can set things on fire, but I don't think that's gonna be very helpful.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. Can I just kind of take a look and see what the problem is and who might be best suited to fix it?
Yeah, for context, I have enhance ability, so I want to use it to help someone with a roll.
All right, so are you casting enhance ability?
Yeah, on
Cool.
Latch, just like whatever they think they need to do, because I have to specify which one it is.
I would say that probably Latch, you can kind of see that like when you said like mechanical issue, the machine shook a little bit. So it probably is a mechanical issue. You can roll a, do you have a proficiency with like tinker's tools or smith's tools or anything like that?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
I would
So I will
probably do Cat's Grace hilariously for dexterity check.
dexterity, yeah. That works.
Yeah,
That works.
hilariously, it's Cat's Grace. So maybe I
That's
take a little bit
great.
of fur from the cat who's like been watching over this, just like a little bit of loose fur.
Aiko just now Aiko is indignant. Even though it's like, you know, like when a cat like molts fur and then it's got
Yeah.
like bits of fur just kind of sitting on top of the fur, that
Mhm.
even then, she kind of shakes indignantly at the fact that you're like stealing bits of fur even though she's no longer using it.
Yeah.
But she kind of continues on her like sort of preparation.
Yeah, so you now have advantage on dexterity checks for up to an hour.
Amazing. Okay, and I think I have +6 to this.
Yes,
That was a
I
natural
think it's your
one.
proficiency bonus on dex.
Yeah, that was a natural one for the first roll, so good to get that out of the way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Next roll is a 17 +6, so that is much better.
Yes. That is
Yay.
so much better.
I
Yeah, all right.
helped.
Latch, you don't have any problems with this, and sort of the cat's grace, kind of, you find yourself able to move more quickly, and your sort of your hands more intricately than you ever, like you've never kind of felt like this level of like focus and ability to really like master the very nitty gritty kind of like machinery that needs to be. But it's very much about like some of the metals kind of like rusted in certain areas, certain screws and things need to just be replaced, and nozzles kind of tightened, and you fix it very, very quickly, and the effect subsides. So well done with that.
Yeah. Aaliyah gives you a little high five.
Yeah, it's a bit scaly.
All right. Okay. With that in mind, we will come to our final lot of checks. Okay. As the lunchtime rush starts to die down a little bit. So let's go back to Olive now. You are helping out, serving the food. I would like you to perform an insight check for me.
Insight. I'm good at that one. I say before I roll.
You may guidance yourself as well.
I got it. Okay. So that
minute.
is a total of, I got a +6, so 17.
17. Perfect. As the sort of the noise of the cafe starts to die down, you manage to get a moment. You've been like rushed off your feet here, there, and everywhere. Right, say your feet, your wings, and you get a moment to kind of really take stock of the situation and really take stock of, I guess, how the customers are doing as a whole. Like, do they seem satisfied? Do they seem not? And you notice in the corner a young teenage tiefling that has been pretty much overlooked, actually. This right in the corner booth. They're kind of almost hidden, and they seem quite nervous. Um, you see, as you watch to try to figure out what's going on, you can see the problem is that every time sort of Millie or Kippers kind of come past, they kind of go to interact or go to, and then they kind of like withdraw. Other more demanding customers and personalities draw attention, and you see that they are quite overwhelmed by um, the noise of the cafe and the amount of people here, and they're a bit anxious, but they want to kind of join in, and they want to they've come here to specifically kind of like meet these cats, and they're not really kind of like being noticed. Now, with that check, I will remind you that Kippers is particularly good with sort of more anxious customers, or those that might want like kind of like that affection and that attention. But it is entirely up to you how you want to kind of handle this final problem.
All right. I will grab a tray of little free samples and just quietly bring it over with a warm little fey mischievous smile and place it down, like, for you to sample. And then as I turn, I'll sort of use my fairy druid craft to draw down like little curtains, like little twirls of vines to just dampen the sound around them a little bit. And then I'll just kind of like make that like sound over to Kippers. The Kippers. Keep them company.
Kippers kind of like I forgot that I had bells on my ears then, and I was like Kippers kind of immediately looks up, and the little bells on its ears kind of tingle, and Kippers comes padding over. Yeah.
I think this customer's a little anxious, but they really want to interact with you. If you could spend some time with them.
Oh, yeah. Hey. And she kind of like hops up and begins to because none of the other customers obviously could hear Kippers talking, and she kind of like meows loudly, and then kind of starts to like sort of nuzzle against this customer, very aggressive head booping going on, and as the customer sort of like begins to relax and sort of smile and enjoy kind of giving this cat all the fuss, the cat Kippers become so like relaxed themselves that they start like little drool starts to kind of like drip, and the customer kind of giggles and finds that very endearing, and you kind of leave Kippers and take over kind of like the slightly more demanding customer that might have been trying to like, probably one of the children was just enjoying kind of like spending time with Kippers, but you kind of go over and do a little bit of entertainment with some stories from the Feywild, and you sort of and that's equally as exciting because it turns out this child has also never seen a fairy, particularly a sort of icy one, and so is absolutely enamored by you. And it's like,
Yeah,
man,
touch
sugar
my
plum
hand, it's
fairy.
cold. Touch my hand, it's cold.
And yeah, and it kind of interacts with you, and you kind of do like a little swapsy essentially, and that ends very well. So that's another step in the positive direction. We head then on over to Aaliyah,
Who is back out of the kitchen again.
You're back out of the kitchen. You're kind of like at the last bit, and you've been kind of dealing with this all day, but what I want you to do now is to find a way to deal with everything else has been so like about like making sure that people are happy and everything like that. At the end of the day, this is also a business, and you need to take money, and you need to make sure that the money that you're taking is the correct money.
Yes.
So how would you like to kind of like, you've got like a lot of like money and you've been doing all these orders and everything, and Pippin has been next to you, like twitching ever so slightly. And as Pippin kind of steps over towards you, it's just like, wait, we have the right amount of money, right?
I have no idea. Let's find out.
I don't know. I mean, humans have been giving me the small silver discs, and I've been giving them the discs back, but I don't know what any of it means, by the way.
Don't do that. That I should do that because I know how
Oh.
money works.
Well, you went into the kitchen. I was trying to help.
That's okay. Don't worry. Next time, just wait for me.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm
yeah,
gonna
I
see
guess
how much
tomorrow
money
when we
we don't have now.
Yeah. Yeah, fine. Roll. So I've got an intelligence check, but again, willing to be persuaded. How do you want to resolve this?
Oh, Aaliyah is not smart.
I will allow for wisdom.
But I mean, I guess it kind of works street smarts rather than book smart. I don't know. It's such a vast difference. Because my intelligence is -1 and my wisdom is +3.
That is a vast difference.
Yes.
I will. I mean, it is down to what Aaliyah. So Aaliyah's got all these things in front of her, and might think, "Wow, what am I going to do with this? I'm not particularly book smart and fantastic at maths. How would Aaliyah like sort of deal with a situation like that?"
I feel like she would count up the number of drinks. Again, because she's not terribly smart. She would count up the number of drinks and the number of food things and count up the money and hope that it's right.
Okay.
I don't think that she would be trying to do like really intense math here.
What I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna allow you to use. I'm gonna do a negotiation with you. I'm gonna
Okay.
allow you to use wisdom, but I'm gonna say it's at disadvantage because there's an element of having to do counting and stuff like that.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, the die did me dirty.
You've been rolling so good all the way up until this point.
Exactly. And I feel like it's perfectly appropriate that math is her enemy. So that's an 8.
That's an 8. Okay, yeah. So that is about you begin to count, and you very quickly realize that the problem isn't just that Pippin took over for a few minutes while you're away. The problem is that you also may have at points forgotten to charge customers.
Or
They've definitely
undercharge
gone
them.
now. You might have overcharged, and you kind of, as you think back, you remember a couple of people looking a bit confused. You might have undercharged others. Those people look incredibly happy. So it's had a pretty like mixed effect. on the satisfaction of the customers. It will go down as an overall negative, however, because obviously, how is Mara going to feel about perhaps not on one of the busiest days of the year, making quite as much money as Mara thought they were going to?
It's like oh yeah, the sugar plum chai, that sounds absolutely incredible, delicious, wonderful. That has to be like 7 silver. But
Right, yeah.
the snowball slide mocha just doesn't sound good to them, so they would have charged like 1 silver for that.
Well, 1 silver for that, yeah, sure,
It's
yeah.
totally based off of what Aaliyah thinks sounds and
You've
tastes
like
good.
you've definitely taken money. There's
Oh,
never
yeah.
been like you've not like just not charged at all, but it's been a bit sporadic. And the cafe, as you kind of like accounting and you're beginning to realize the cafe ooh, the ca-
I forgot
the
there were
cafe
special effects from the cafe.
the cafe panics
No.
and it kind of like the walls shake a little bit and just little puffs and these little like pixies appear. There's like sort of 3 or 4 of them. And they begin flying around in a sort of a bit of a tizzy. But the thing that they seem to be doing is that they are aiming for the customers and they are starting to rifle through their purses to try to grab money. Because the cafe is kind of caught on, oh, we didn't take enough. Oh, okay, I will provide a solution. And it has come up with these little pixies. So tell me how, Olive, you turn around and there are now pixies and they are robbing the customers.
Yeah, I start instinctively yelling in Sylva to be like, "Hey, what are you doing? You don't take from customers."
The pixies turn around and are like, "Hey, what are you doing?"
"I am being customer service."
"Customer service? This is a business!" And then they kind of like start running around.
That
They're
is
like,
part
"Hey,
of
you
business."
pay for your drink." But they're like talking in Sylvan. None of the customers can understand what they're saying.
Listen, if you don't listen to me, I'm gonna guiding bolt you.
Okay, roll intimidation for me, please.
Yeah, I have no idea what's happening because I speak Common, Draconic, Druidic, Elvish, and Zemnian. Ich kann Zemnian sprechen.
I am Chinese, but I have proficiency intimidation. That is an 18 total.
Oh my god, your proficiency.
Tiny body, big personality. I live with giants.
That's incredible. You put on your biggest anger. You're a tiny little fairy, but you grew up with frost giants. You know how to be scary. And you put on like your biggest, angriest frost giant like stare, and it almost kind of like sends this chill like pervading through the room. And you see as these kind of like little pixies kind of just like look in horror, and then they kind of like they start to like ice up, and they're like, okay, we'll stop, please. And then the icicles kind of like melt off of them. And they kind of like and then they just puff out of existence again. And the money that they've kind of like taken just falls to the floor.
Okay.
Magic money.
Magic money that was stolen from customers.
So
Very
luckily the cats kind of like start to like kind of like get the money back to original owners, and they're kind of trying to like sort out that confusion. All right, Latch, your final test.
Okay.
Will you pass? So you're kind of sitting in the kitchen, the lunchtime rush is dying down, and there is a knock at the back door. And as soon as the knock has happened, the door is open, and there is a halfling standing outside. He's got a relatively bushy beard, and very thick eyebrows and big glasses. And he goes, "Mara, you back yet? Oh, hello."
Hi, sorry. Yes, Mara is currently away on business, so me and my friends we are helping run things while he's away. But can I help you?
Well, I'm here to collect my special blend. I come here every week. Mara is not here.
Yeah, sorry. We the cats are on it. Don't worry, the cats are sorting that right now. But if there's anything I can do to help, I'd be happy to try.
I mean, do you know anything about coffee? Or I kind of need this special blend. It's supposed to be made up for me. I ordered it a few days ago.
Well, I'm a fast learner. I'm good with machinery and gadgetry. So, um, even if it's a bit new to
Right.
me,
But
I
what
can.
about taste? What about texture? What about do you consider yourself a tea aficionado? I'm
Uh,
Manuel, by the way. Sorry, very rude of me. Terribly rude of me.
oh yeah, lovely to meet you. I'm Latch. Yeah.
Latch, right.
I mean, I'm I don't know a huge amount about varieties of tea, but I have a bunch at home that I like. Yeah, sorry.
I mean, I'd rather really speak to an expert. I This is very terribly disappointing. And at this point, like, Aika kind of turns to you and it's just like, look, just most of what comes out of his mouth is gobbledygook. Just make it up as you go along. He'll pretend that he knows what he's talking about. It's a whole thing. Mara talks absolute rubbish at him most of the time. Just have a vine. Just make some stuff up and then get the special blends over there and then it's gone.
Okay. Bit of razzmatazz, yeah. And Let's just kind of looks down at their like very dowdy clothes and is just like, okay, and
And
says,
I will let you choose how you want to approach this. Obviously the instinct is like some kind of charisma base, but I will allow you, like, if you have like a good intelligence, to try to like delve into history or nature or something, on your knowledge of like certain plants, things like that, to try to just like really like reel off on a topic that even seems closely related to tea, that might impress him enough.
I actually have a decent deception, so I might go
Right.
the route of I just kind of look around the room and see if there's anything that strikes inspiration, and then maybe I see some jasmine or something, and I say, "Well, actually, I did hear Mara talking. Well, I'm not an expert in everything. I do know a lot about jasmine," and then I kind of go on this long.
I love it. Roll your deception for me.
Okay, go on. That is 15.
15. Perfect. You have passed. Yeah, go on, talk to me. You just kind of start reeling off about Jasmine, and he kind of at first he was like seemed a little bit like tense and a little bit frustrated. But the moment that you start talking, he goes, "Oh, yes, I mean, jasmine, of course, it's jasmine. But then what about lavender? I mean, the notes are just, it's just that like refinement, to it. Jasmine is one thing, but lavender is just, I mean, of course, being a sort of a herb expert yourself, and he seems to relax a whole lot. And you you managed to fool for probably about sort of a good 10-15 minutes while figuring out this machinery, this man, into thinking that you are an expert of herb lore, because he's pretty easily fooled, because he knows absolutely nothing about it himself. In fact, the little amount that you do know it's true. Everything that's coming out of his mouth is completely wrong. It's like totally incorrect. You kind of indulge it, and you kind of make up this special blend. Aiko is kind of like putting in the ingredients, knows exactly what this guy actually wants. And then you put it together and you give it to him. And that was a pass. So you have successfully managed to appease the customers because you got mostly passes. There were a couple of negatives, but overall you found ways to kind of deal with them, and the customers are pretty pleased. I think Mara will be pretty happy, perhaps aside from the takings today,
Yeah.
which are just a little off.
Just a little bit.
Capitalism.
A little bit.
But you know, yeah, exactly. As Maddie just said, we're not about capitalism here anyway. It's about the cats, right? It's about the experience. The customers left very happy, and I think you all know Mara well enough to know that even though money is a certain part of the dream, the big dream is kind of looking after the cats and making sure that they're happy, and also getting other people to kind of be able to interact with them and providing a good customer experience, which you certainly did manage to do that. Now I'm very aware of time. We have about half an hour left. So in this instance, what I will do is, as you kind of like the lunchtime rush kind of finishes, and how the cafe normally works is for like a few hours in the afternoon it closes, and then it opens again kind of for the evening. So you kind of close up the cafe, and you've managed to kind of like deal with this kind of like Christmas or like festive lunchtime dealing. It is at this point that amazingly, it's almost as if it's written that way, that BP comes, sort of, you kind of come back with the cats, and they kind of like all congregate, and this time they do sit in a circle. Why not? And they all speak intently about how well everything went and how grateful they are. And this time, and then BP kind of comes tumbling through the portal, and kind of goes, "Oh, hey, I know problem.
Oh,
What's the problem?
Mara, okay. Mara stuck.
Mara stuck where?
Arena sleeping. Portal sticky. Magic sticky. Mara
Ooh.
stuck in magic. Can't portal.
Oh.
Do we have to?
And
I
you
think
can
we have
see
to-
like drip on like BP's fur is like, it's a bit matted. It's got like this like weird like sort of magical goop on it. And BP kind of immediately sets to like trying to lick it off, and then just not nice.
Oh no.
Sounds like we got to wake up Brina.
yeah. Does anyone know a food that Rena really likes that the smell might wake her up?
That's an excellent question. I think I actually might have the answer to that question.
You should.
I think I do. So bear with me, because I feel like I got it written down, but not in a place that's right in front of me.
Don't you love when that happens?
Yeah.
Constantly.
That's just, I have so many tabs, everyone. Rena. Yes. All of the cats chorus together. Fish,
Okay.
gravy, and fish.
That's a weird combination. Says me.
Quite common in the cat food world.
Okay. I'm allergic to that as well as cats, so I don't know.
Wow. You are missing out, friend. Do you know what? I'm going to change for my last pair of ears. Did you notice how quickly the bit died? Like, I just really...
I poked at my head to be like, hey, you didn't switch your ears, but you didn't know.
You should have yelled it out. Be like, ears.
Ears.
Right. I got this is BP's ears because BP's got red in it. There is for some reason.
Sure.
All right.
Latch will run to the kitchen and try and find run to the cat kitchen rather than the human kitchen.
All right, and I think because you've done so much of the stuff with the machinery and everything like that, the kitchen is very well in tune with your energy now, Latch. And the moment you run in there, it's like, oh, fish, and it just sort of starts to like you watch just like these like bowls kind of come flying out the cupboard, various kind of like bits of cutlery and stuff, and the ingredients come out of the cupboards and they begin to start pouring themselves and whisking themselves up, and they create this really like quite, it's an odd combination, but it smells strangely nice. And then pour into a bowl, and the bowl kind of like gently floats into your hand.
Great, brilliant. Okay, and I rush back through to the cat's room and sort of very gently waft the bowl of fish under the nose of the sleeping Rena.
Can I say, while Latch was gone, Aaliyah absolutely used Wild Shape to turn into a blue cat and just cuddle up next to her to like slowly wake her up.
I love a blue cat as well.
No, I mean I have blue ears on.
Yeah,
so-
with the blue ears. Yeah. So Rena, as you kind of like put this thing, Cass kind of like steps forward, is like, you know, actually, come to think of it, Rena has been asleep for quite some time, about the three or so moons. Well, maybe we should have woken her up sooner. It's a bit of an oversight on our part. Terribly sorry. She enjoys a nap, you know. And this fishy smell sort of wafts into Rena's nostrils, and Rena kind of like stretches and wakes up.
Aaliyah licks her on the cheek a couple
Morning,
times.
afternoon, evening. What time is it?
It's the time.
Where's Mara?
He's stuck in the portal.
Stuck in the. Oh, for goodness sake! Why didn't no one wake me? she kind of like she's quite an elderly cat. Like she's and she's definitely got a little bit of a, you would know, especially Aaliyah. She's a little grumpy. She's known for being a bit grumpy. But she is indeed the cat that Mara has chosen to be the one to greet at the portal, greet at the door every single time. So she kind of like looks at this portal, and she's, oh, magic's become a little sticky. Well, okay, I can do my thing, but I might need a little bit of help. This portal leads to the Feywild, and sometimes when I loosen things up, things come out, and yeah, just need you to keep it at bay. Help me keep it at bay while Mara comes back. All right. All right. So, we will make this a little quicker than I normally would run combat. But as this portal begins to shimmer, and the energy starts to sort of ripple out, I would like you all to roll initiative so that I can kind of have a turn order. I roll.
This die is officially banned.
Ooh. 23 for me.
I am
All right,
shocked.
Latch.
21.
All right,
I'm
so
a cat.
Latch has 23, yeah, and Olive has 21. Yeah, oh, they're amazing. And Aaliyah has 7.
Yes, I'm a cat.
Love it. Yeah, I mean, Aaliyah's just settling down for a cat nap.
Honestly,
at
yes.
this point. And all right, so I have, yeah, you did rather well there. So the portal begins to kind of like thrum with this energy, and I am very aware that this is the wrong color ears for Rena, which is a sort of a brown tabby cat. But it's got red on the inside, so we'll go with it. But Reno kind of begins to concentrate, and her eyes sort of take on this slight sheen of like chaotic fey magic, which Olive would definitely very well recognize. And the portal begins to thrum. You watch in this sort of first as sort of some of the objects around the room begin to slowly like swirl around, and they seem to be kind of being like possessed by this magical energy, and the arena kind of goes, oh, watch out for those, and they kind of become like this like a swarm of various things. It is like some of them pretty harmless. It's like little cat toys and things like that. Some less harmless, like rather heavy ornaments, or the fireplace poker, or just sort of slightly more dangerous things. And they begin to kind of swirl around, and then they sort of begin to start like shooting in all different areas of the room. So let's go then with Latch. So you've got this like swarm of objects, seems to be like possessed by fey magic. It's kind of going here, there, and everywhere. What would you like to do?
Let's see. I think I would like to try and snatch things out of the air, using my nimble fingers, and see if I can get stuff out of harm's way and just kind of hold on to it and stop it from shooting around everywhere.
Ooh, let's make a dexterity. Now I think you would you still have Cat's Grace on? Possibly. How long does that last, Aaliyah?
It lasts for an hour.
An hour. Yeah. Because wait, when did we do that?
That was
quite a while ago, wasn't
round. It? Yeah, I'd say
yeah.
that was probably faded.
All right, it's probably gone off. I tried.
It's all good.
But yeah. So yes, if you can make a dexterity, let's say a dexterity check then for me, because
Cool.
you are. Or perhaps that would be you're snatching at things, right? So maybe a sleight of hand, if that makes things slightly better for you.
Yes, that's great. That's 21 for sleight of hand.
21, lovely. So you kind of start snatching at objects, kind of flying through the air. Maybe sort of aiming for the slightly more dangerous ones. Like it's all very well having these kind of like little like fluffy like pom-poms and things like that going. But the fireplace poker and the heavy ornaments and things, and you start trying to like get them, and the magical effect is not like dispelled or anything like that, so they're still trying to move. So you can probably grab a few of them, and you kind of like put your full like body weight on them, and you're holding them down, and they're trying to like move beneath you. Is there anything else that you wanted to do with your go?
Let's see. I think that's probably everything that I want to do right now. Yeah, I think I'll stick with that.
All right. Next up then, Olive.
Okay. Olive isn't the speedy kind. She likes to hit things, so maybe she can bash them down from the air. So bonus action, she's going to summon spiritual weapon.
Love that.
It's going to take the form of a well-ornate sugar spoon.
Yes. Okay, so you have your spiritual weapon.
So upon
to bash in.
Yeah, so upon summoning that, my spiritual weapon can make a strike at whatever's close to it.
That's fine. You see kind of like a row of like some of the energy is kind of starting to seep off into other rooms, and you see a row of spoons from the kitchen come whizzing past, and you can try to hit those.
Okay, so that is a 14 to hit.
Yes, that's a hit.
Okay. I'm just going with my digital stuff. All right, and that is a 8 force damage with my sugar spoon.
Lovely, lovely.
And that was with my bonus action spell, so I'm just going to follow it up with a cantrip of Sacred Flame. So targets must succeed on a dexterity saving throw. So we'll find like a cluster and like focus on the most dangerous thing and just make it Sacred Flame.
13 altogether.
13 altogether. Okay, that just is below mine. Mine is 14.
Oh, okay. So that you just about get it then. So send off that fire.
All right. And comes out in a burst of like kind of white and blue looking like falling fine mist snow. And it takes 8 radiant damage.
Ooh, I love that. So what kind of like you kind of get the spoons out the way with your spiritual weapons blow, and then a couple of logs by the fire start to like raise up, and they're quite big, heavy looking logs, and they start to like
No.
head towards you, and you send out this like burst, and quite a lot of it manages to sort of evade it, but these logs are quite big, and they kind of like at the moment that this radiant flame hits them, it sort of completely chews up these logs. So unfortunately, a little bit less firewood in the building, but that's fine. You know, it's better that it doesn't hurt anyone. The cats, for what it's worth, by the way, have done what cats are prone to do when scary things are happening, and they are staying well back. They've kind of escaped into other rooms, and they're kind of peering around the door and shouting encouragement from the doorway. Okay. It is now the go of these little things, so I'm going to roll a series of attacks. Because they have multi-attack. That is a 7 on, so I'm gonna guess it's not gonna hit. A 7 on Latch. Nope. Okay, and that is that's a 17 on Olive.
That does hit.
That does hit. Okay, so it's not gonna be huge amounts because it's like this tiny little so it is 6 points of piercing damage. Owie. You find that as you bat down the spoons, the forks follow shortly after, and they kind of like sort of like pincer you a little bit, and you find yourself kind of like having to bat them off, and but they do a little bit of damage as they do. All right, let's do one against Leah. That's not gonna hit. That's an 8. Oh, I'm rolling terribly, or I should say that these swarms, they're not particularly well directioned. They don't really have intent. They're just kind of flying around everywhere. So they don't get 2 of you. They just manage to get somehow the smallest of you all. But the one with the biggest personality. The one with the biggest presence. All right. So onto it will be now Aaliyah's go. Aaliyah, you're a cat. Yes, I've just remembered.
I am a cat.
You are. Go for it. As a cat, what are you doing?
Oh, I do not know. What do I see like at first glance all around me that is something that I might be able to affect?
I mean, the swarm is kind of like it's kind of like just starting to at this point, and it's starting to coalesce. So they're kind of like all these
Okay.
things that were kind of flying around everywhere. They're starting to come together into this energy, sort of more towards the center of the room, which is well within sort of like your ability to get there. I'm not going to focus too much on like reach and stuff like that. I'm kind of thinking of it more as like rooms at this point, because the rooms are not big enough for it to be that big a deal. So you would be able to kind of like, if you want to get up close or you want to get a little bit further away, you can do either of those things.
So my thought is, and tell me what you feel about this. If I was lying down with Rena, there was maybe a blanket or something that we were lying on. Could I, if that exists, hypothetically try to leap up with it in my mouth to try to cover this coalescing ball of stuff?
You absolutely could do that. That would be a grapple. A grapple.
Okay. I always have to look up grapple. Please tell me what to do.
Yeah, so I need you to make an attack roll essentially,
Okay.
to see if man, do you know what? I just said it and then I was like, damn, what is the grapple rules?
Grapple is the
gonna-
worst.
Grapple is your strength versus their dex or strength.
Okay, so
Yes.
now I need to look up a cat because it's not my strength, it's the cat's
Yes, you're
strength.
right. So it's a strength check. And I will, if you're a druid, so you're going
Yeah.
to, do you want to wild shape into something a bit stronger, or are you good being a
Can
cat?
I wild shape? Well, it would be bonus action to wild shape out and action to wild shape into something else. That's the thing.
For the sake of this one shot, I will waive
Okay.
that rule. Yeah, I will allow you to just
Okay.
wild shape. Yeah.
So I would like to, as I'm doing this, transform suddenly, like from one step to the next, into a giant blue panther.
We love to see it. This is just a bigger cat. Yes.
Yes.
And please, go for that grapple then.
Okay, so let me look at the panther stat block. Cool, that's much stronger.
Yeah.
It's a 16.
All right, and let me tell you, not particularly strong. So, yeah, you managed to do it. You managed to kind of like go over and kind of grab the blanket over the top of all of these like objects. And as you do, you can see this like shape is pressing into the portal. Rena kind of goes, almost there, and then this huge sort of swarm of energy kind of like bursts around the room. And as it kind of like fades and ripples out, your good friend Mara comes tumbling out of this portal. He's absolutely covered in goop. And he's kind of got this like this blanket kind of like huddled close. And he he's like, oh, what happened? What oh, hello, hey, you're here early? Question mark.
We're here on time, as we always are.
It's been 3 moons here.
Yes.
Right. It's been about 10 minutes over there. So, right. Hello. Hi. Oh, the cafe. Oh, and you can see like the panic is starting to set in. He's looking around, and all the cats are obviously like run over, and he's trying to like stroke them, and then he's like realizing he's covered in goop. He's like, okay. Mara, very dirty right now. Missed you all terribly for the 10 minutes that I was gone, but I know that you've missed me. So what happened with the cafe? Help.
We ran the cafe.
Panther Aaliyah just like goes over, licks some of the goop, and just.
You ran the cafe, and there is a mixture of like you see him sort of relaxed, but there is a slight terror to his eyes as he realizes that
It was just for the
he's
lunchtime.
not quite sure what that means, and he just for one lunch. Oh, so we were closed the other 2 days. Okay. Well, thank you, first of all, thank you so much. Oh, Was it okay? You were okay?
Yeah, there
Yeah.
were a couple hitches here and there, but overall, the customers
Right.
seemed really happy, and yeah, it went okay. And I think the cats had a nice time. Didn't you? And kind of looks meaningfully at the cats to be like, yes.
They're all just like pouring and kind of like they're kind of really ignoring the goop at this point. But they're kind of like really happy to see him. And they're like, yeah, we had a great time. But we missed you though, missed you. And as we kind of like pull back from the scene, you see as Mara kind of explains to you exactly what happened. You went, I went to see an old friend of mine, I suppose. I go to her. I go to her. We have an agreement. It's sealed in a pact. Uh, of magic. That I will look after the cats that she provides, and I will run the cat cafe in return. And well, and you can see at this point, like Rena, now having done her job, has kind of curled up and gone back to sleep. Rena is getting old. She wishes to retire from her role of portal guardian, and so I've been ruminating and thinking of what I could do to help her. And in the end, I've kind of ended up coming up with a solution with our good lady and all of the cats, like lady, lady, lady. And he kind of opens up this bundle of blankets, and inside is this very teeny tiny little kitten. Um, well, everyone, this is Lulu. Say hello. And they're all kind of like really excited and curious. It's been a while. Like a lot of the cats are kind of a bit older. Like Rena is getting on, and quite a few of them are kind of like 13 or so. So that it's been a while since they've had a kitten around. And you can kind of tell they're very like not used to having like a very tiny cat. Of course, Mara says then, so I hope you've made lots of money today because we've got one extra cat amongst the ranks, and well, I've got to figure out how to feed you all and look after you all. But I know it's the festive rush. We've made plenty, and all the cats just kind of stone-faced silence.
Aaliyah is staying as a panther so that they don't have to say anything.
And what kind of withdraw from the scene, I think, of this like as a gift, Mara kind of presents you all with your own like special blends, which if we were playing on into a campaign, they have each of them have like these kind of special effects, which is really fun and cool. And yeah, that is the end then of our little like Tobean's Cat Cafe adventure. I hope that you enjoyed it, enjoyed yourselves, and thank you all so much in chat for kind of like. And I know I haven't been particularly active in chat. I've been looking absolutely everywhere else instead. But I hope you all enjoyed yourselves and kind of felt a little bit of festive spirit with this one. Just a couple of things to address before we head off. Firstly, I am going to go around and get everyone to kind of talk about themselves, and I'll talk about myself. Just kind of go around, say like who you are, where we can find you on socials, and maybe we'll try to keep it brief because we've only got a few minutes. Like one or two projects that you've got coming up, maybe something you're excited about for the new year, and that you're going to be doing. Or something that you kind of like want to plug or talk about. Let's start this time. We'll go backwards this time. So let's start with Natalie.
All right. Hi, everybody. I was playing Olive, so I am now back to me, Natalie. Find me most places on the internet with Ghost Candle or Ghostly Candle on Twitch and YouTube. I do lots of things, variety things, primarily an artist, which has been lots of fun. Did lots of fun projects this year, including with my fellow player Anya. So make sure you check her stuff out too, because it's also my art in there. I don't know what else to say. I have lots of things coming up. I got a game tomorrow night on Zeal Zaddy at 9 o'clock, and then New Year, just expect lots. So make sure you follow me for most updates. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Natalie. Let's move on to Maddie this time.
Yes, you can find me on social media at Maddie is Abstract. I'm in most places, and there's a link in my bio to all the various things that I do. You can most often hear me on Realms of Peril and Glory, the actual play podcast. And I also have my own little podcast, A Game of One's Own, which focuses on solo and two-player RPGs. And I've got to play one of Anya's on there. And I'm hoping in the new year that I'll be able to get back to that, but we'll just have to see how life goes. So yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Amazing. No worries, Maddie. It's a pleasure, of course. Last but not least, seems to be my favorite thing to say. Let's go with Anya.
Yeah, so I am Lalion cosplay basically everywhere, and as the other two lovely players have mentioned, I write TTRPGs, anything from one player to multiplayer. I like writing way too many TTRPGs. Today I released my Candela Obscura module on my Itch and Drive Through RPGs. The two actual plays that I did of Candela Obscura, it is based off of those. So if you've seen those and like it, then you can get it and play it yourself. Yes, so I do that. I also stream lots of things, including I play Pokemon Red on my Game Boy Pocket on Thursdays. So if you want to check that out on my stream, you totally can. That's it. I do cosplays. I don't think you can see it. Anyway.
we can see the corset. The corset looked great.
Oh, you guys can see it, not in the overlay. There we go. Corset.
Oh yeah, of course. I keep forgetting to look at them.
Yeah.
We can see it. Chat can confirm looks great. So yeah, I guess that leaves me. I'm Kat. I'm otherwise known as the Law Mistress. You can find me on socials at lawmistress93. I do quite a lot of different things. I am a writer primarily, but honestly, recently I've been doing a lot more streaming, streaming on various different channels and streaming on my own channel. I do like co-writing streams, if you want a chilled out vibe, but I also have been doing one shots and actual plays, and also playing solo games, because I think we've got a very healthy love of solo games here in today's cast, and I am also one of those people that absolutely adore solo games. So I have started a series where I'm trying to spotlight them, and yeah, you will find my next project probably will be I'm going to be running 2 games of the Wassailing of Claws Manor, which is a rooted in trophy game. It was going to be just 1, but I had quite a lot of applicants, so I'm going to extend it to 2. And I will be doing that sort of end of December, early New Year. And that's like the big upcoming project. But 2024, I've got lots of plans, and I'm very excited about them. So just have a look at my socials to keep up with that. Next up, let us I'll quickly do some Girls Run These Worlds announcements. So next game is going to be Brindlewood Bay. I think it was going to be run on a different day, but it's been rescheduled. So it will be now running on Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, and it's called Jingle Bell Shock, which just sounds like a ton of fun, and it's going to be the last of the Christmas or the holiday one shots running here on Girls Run These Worlds, and then we will have Go Dark Week, which is when everyone takes a break. Just like our lovely players were doing, not that they actually ended up taking a break because they ended up working in retail instead. But in 2024, the Creator app is looking like it's going to reopen, because it's been closed for a little while because we've had so many wonderful shows and everything like that. So they're looking to kind of reset that up in 2024. So if you want to play something or run something here on Girls Run These Worlds, and you think this looks like fun, which it absolutely is, can confirm, then keep an eye out for 2024, because the Creator app will be open for you to submit your pitches to. We are going to raid D&D Jordan Lee, because she is playing Baldur's Gate 3 the Dark Urge stream. So I have not played a huge amount of Baldur's Gate 3, but what I have has been exceptionally fun. But finally, what we're going to do, you have literally less than 10 seconds. Enter our giveaway, !beans. We're literally about to pull for the result of that. And yeah, I can see immediately people are just like scrabbling in the chat. Shout out to the people in the chat today for coming up with all of the cat-based puns, because that was actually supposed to be my job and I failed spectacularly at it. So I'm really, really grateful for the people in the chat that have managed to do that for me. Really, really grateful. We are drawing now, so drum roll, everyone. Who's it gonna be? It is Zinzia. I think that's how you say that. XYNXIA. You have won not only a copy of Beans, like the original module, but also the winter edition adventure that we just played. It's going to be the digital version, but it comes with all the assets. It comes with the menus and the everything. Also, shout out to Fistful of Crits that have been in the chat. I've seen them. They are the ones that created this module. So thank you so much for giving us such an enjoyable adventure to play. And man, this is my best stream yet. We're only 2 minutes over.
Hey.
With that, I'm gonna head off before I start rambling on about something else. But thank you all so much for joining us, and we hope you have a lovely end of your holiday period and get to relax in the way that you want to, and spend it in the way you want to, and be kind to each other, everyone. I think that's my main message that I wanted to get out there today, and love your fluffy animals if you have them. All right, bye.